Imagine a life where nothing shakes your core anymore, not harsh words, not stony silence, not even betrayal. Most men are quick to react to a disrespectful remark. A promise shattered, a minor delay, and suddenly anger surges. Bitterness creeps in, or exhaustion takes hold. It's not the world's cruelty at fault, but their failure to master their emotional responses. Picture this. The Stoic man holds a secret we've long forgotten. True power lies in staying calm under pressure. Mental strength isn't about brute force. It's about control. And that control starts with an unshakable truth. You don't have to react. In this video, you'll discover how to build emotional mastery through Stoic wisdom, how to stop others from pushing your buttons, and guard your peace like a man who refuses to bow to chaos. You'll learn why lowering expectations isn't weakness, but wisdom, why silence isn't surrender, but strategy, and why emotions aren't the enemy, it's how you handle them that matters. Let me tell you a story of many men who felt their calm dismissed or life constantly tipping them off balance. You're not alone in this, but today, that changes. This isn't fleeting motivation, it's transformation. Join me. What you're about to hear could reshape how you face everything. If it resonates, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. For strength isn't noise, it's steadiness. And from now on, nothing and no one controls your peace. First, turn self-control into your shield. There's a subtle moment, often overlooked. When a man hands away his power, someone interrupts, mocks, or ignores him. And inside, a storm brews. His chest tightens, jaw clenches, and he speaks louder than needed. Just like that, calm vanishes. Not because the other is strong, but because he reacted, and in that reaction, he surrendered. We often mistake reacting for strength, thinking the one who roars back holds power. But the cold truth is, different power isn't in the noise. Recall the tale of the warrior who chose silence amid provocation. His power lay in the quiet he embraced. Self-control isn't about lacking emotions, it's refusing to let them steer you. You don't need to be emotionless, you need to be precise. Anger is instinct fast, loud, hot, and dangerous. It feels like action, but often leads to regret. When insulted and you explode, they've won because they reached you. They decided your state, and unknowingly, you let them script your life. The easily provoked man has no walls, no boundaries. His emotions are public property, anyone can enter. Push a button and own him for a moment. Now, envision another man. He hears the same insult but remains unmoved. His breath steady, gaze unflinching. He doesn't suppress the response. He's mastered it through practice. For he knows emotional control isn't about appearing tough. It's about not handing the keys to your peace to strangers. This is Stoic strength, not ego, but owning your time, energy, and emotional space. Think back to a time you faced this, stuck in traffic. Someone cuts you off. Heart races. Words form on your lips. And then what, they fade. But you're tense, distracted, off balance. That's the cost of reacting you pay long after the moment passes. The Stoic man understands this. So he pauses. He lets the emotion rise, but doesn't let it take over. He breathes deeply. He remembers the world owes him no perfect order. Control lies within him. Most live in survival mode, defensive, proving, retaliating. But that stance weakens you. It places your identity in others' hands. If they insult, you strike back. Consider the lesson from the ancient emperors who ruled not by fury, but by measured response. Start with stillness when provoked. Say nothing. Do nothing. Feel the wave rise within. But don't ride it. Observe it. Acknowledge it. But don't obey it. That moment of stillness is your power, the place where you break the cycle. Over time, you'll react less. Stay calmer. You stop fighting noise with noise. You cease chasing justice in petty conflicts. You guard your energy like it's your lifeblood. Because it is. This isn't passivity. The Stoic doesn't ignore injustice, but knows when to act and when to let go. He knows when to speak and when silence is true strength. He chooses his battles, and when he engages, it's with clarity, not heat. You don't need to prove your strength, you need to own it. The loudest in the room often lacks control most. The quiet, calm, unflinching one is felt. From now on, let your first instinct not be reaction, but stillness. Make stillness a habit. Let calm become your reputation. When you master that, you become untouchable, not because the world stops testing you, but because it no longer holds what once controlled you. In the story of life's relentless trials, remember you keep disappointing yourself because you expect too much. That's the trap. It starts quietly with a thought that someone should know better. Do more. Understand. You expect them to say what you want. Value you. Respect boundaries without reminders. But when they don't, you feel it. The disappointment, the anger, even betrayal. You start thinking everyone is letting you down. But the simple, hard truth, they're just being themselves. The pain doesn't come from their actions, but from your expectation that they'd be different. Expectations are silent contracts you write alone, no one else signs. You thought friends would stand up for you. Your partner, more patient. Colleagues recognize your effort, but it didn't happen. And in the gap between what you wanted and reality, your peace slips away. That gap is where resentment grows. You carry the weight of who you wish others were, and it starts crushing you. The Stoic doesn't waste time blaming others for being themselves. Marcus Aurelius woke each morning reminding himself he'd meet the ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, not out of negativity, but preparation. When you accept human nature, you stop demanding perfection. You stop handing your peace to the next disappointment. You don't expect storms to quiet or clarity from chaos. You learn to see people as they are, not as you want them to be. Imagine entering a room with no expectations. You don't assume the waiter polite, the driver calm, or friends remembering your birthday. You observe. You engage. You respond. But you don't react rashly. You've freed yourself from the chains of assumption. You're no longer shocked when someone lets you down because you've let go of the idea that they owe you what they never promised. This small freedom changes everything. Most men tie their inner peace to others' actions. A stranger's rudeness can ruin their morning. A loved one's silence can spark weeks of tension. But what if you could untie that knot? What if you stopped expecting others to hand you peace, neatly wrapped? What if you stopped demanding broken people act whole? That's where Stoicism lives. It embraces reality as it is. It doesn't demand fairness from those who don't yet grasp it. Picture a man who faced betrayal yet stood unshaken. He met people where they were, not where he wished they'd be. Don't let their flaws steal your calm. Try this now. Think of someone who often disappoints you, a friend, co-worker, or family member. Ask yourself, am I hurt because of what they did, or because of what I thought they should do? Write it down. Say it aloud. Let that question be your mirror. In that moment of reflection, you'll see clearly you're not betrayed. You just expected too much. Lowering expectations doesn't mean growing cold. It means growing wise. It's not the end of hope, but the start of understanding. You don't need to stop caring. You need to stop turning your hopes for others into weapons they use to wound you. Start today. I will see people as they are, not as I wish them to be. I won't beg rain to become sunshine. Instead, I'll build my shelter. That's Stoic freedom, not from others, but from the burden of reshaping them. Third, master indifference to provocation. Some people don't want peace. They crave your reaction. They taunt. They prod, waiting for you to erupt, because that's how they feel in control. When you lose your calm, they win. Not because they're stronger, but because they pulled you into their chaos. The moment you react, you step into their frame. They decide who you become. That's the real loss. Not the insult or argument, but letting them touch your soul. Indifference isn't coldness. It's not ignoring injustice or pretending you're unhurt. In Stoic terms, it's refusing to let the unworthy steal your energy. You choose where your mind lingers. You decide who enters your space. You guard your focus like it's sacred, because it is. Every time you let a fool provoke you, you abandon your throne and dive into the mud. Recall the last time someone deliberately tried to rile you, a stranger on the road, a disrespectful coworker, in a meeting. Think of the relative who always knows the exact words to spark your anger. You felt the fire ignite. Words forming. Tension in your chest. That's the moment the test. Most fail it. They speak too fast. Act too quickly, losing what they meant to protect their strength. Now imagine a different outcome. The same insult, the same jab, but this time you pose. You feel the urge to react but hold back. You let the words fall without sinking into your mind. You observe, then decide not worth it. You walk away, not retreating, but mastering the moment. That's not weakness, it's dominance. The man who doesn't flinch commands the room. The man who stays calm owns the moment. Epictetus taught that if someone tries to hurt you and you refuse the pain, they fail because pain requires your permission. An insult needs your consent to stick. Respond to noise with silence, and you rise above their reach. You become untouchable, not because you fight harder, but because you don't fight at all. This doesn't mean passivity. You still act when needed. You set boundaries. You speak truth. But you pick your battles. You don't get dragged into every petty skirmish. You don't explain yourself to those who only want to misunderstand. You don't argue with noise. You step over it. That's Stoic emotional strength. A disciplined mind in action. Next time someone provokes you, try this. Pause for 3 seconds. Just 3. In that silence, feel everything, but don't act. Ask yourself, do I really want to let them control me like this? Then decide that pause is where character is forged. That stillness separates the strong from the impulsive. Practice this daily in small moments at the store, in traffic, or during an argument. Once there was a man who faced daily slights, yet became unshakable. His secret was refusing to react just to feel better. Let your silence speak. Let your calm unsettle them. The one who shouts has already lost something. The one who doesn't flinch changes everything. Let them talk. Mock. Try but guard your energy, like gold. Because it is. When you stop reacting to every jab, you gain something precious: clarity, peace, yourself. Start today. Find a moment you'd usually snap at, and don't. Smile. Breathe. Move on. That's how the Stoic wins quietly, refusing to play their game. Fourth, see every situation as a test of character. You're not being punished, you're being forged. That frustrating moment, that unexpected challenge, isn't case. It's a mirror. Life is showing you who you really are when things don't go your way. Most men crumble. They complain, asking, "Why me?" But the Stoic man asks, "What am I being called to build within myself right now?" Pain isn't personal, it's a lesson. Every disappointment is a weight for your character to lift. Every failure is a forge for your discipline. But only if you stop reacting and start responding thoughtfully. Only if you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as the architect of your inner strength. The world doesn't get easier. You just get better at facing it. When someone disrespects you at work, when your partner snaps unexpectedly, when plans collapse at the finish line, you're in life's gym with two choices. Let the moment shrink you or sharpen you. Most men get angry and blame. The Stoic breathes, observes, learns, and decides, "I won't waste this pain." The truth is, ease doesn't build character, pressure does. Discomfort does. The tough conversation, the betrayal, the delay, they're not obstacles in your path. They are the path. But you only see that when you stop running and start using them. Hear the story of Marcus Aurelius, who wrote that the fire turns what it burns into more flame. That's not poetry, it's practice. What seems to break you becomes your fuel. It's easy to be kind when others are kind, to stay calm when the world complies. But when someone yells in your face, when life throws curveballs, when your pride takes a hit, that's when truth shows. In that crucible, your values are no longer theory, they're tested. That's when true strength shines, not in comfort, but under pressure. The man who holds his calm amidst the storm walks through any hardship. Don't wait for the world to soften before you grow. It won't. Instead, shift how you see challenges. See them not as disruptions, but invitations to step into a stronger version of yourself. You don't need a perfect life to do this. You just need to view every irritation as training. Even the small things, especially the small things. A late email, a cold glance, a traffic jam. That's where the real work happens. Quietly, daily, with purpose. Here's how to apply it next time frustration rises. Catch it early. Don't flee it. Name it. Then ask, what is this shaping in me? Will I shout and lose control? Or stand still and build resilience? Will I argue or hone? My calm strength doesn't come naturally. It's forged in moments like these. Don't pretend you don't feel the burn. Choose not to let it rule you. You're allowed to struggle, but not to collapse. You're allowed to feel the heat, but you can also turn that fire into fuel. Consider the tale of a man who faced life's resistance, yet saw it as opportunity, not an insult. Each challenge was his chance to sharpen the quiet strength. No one could see his character, his mastery, his unyielding resolve. Fifth, observe emotions without letting them steer. A man doesn't fall because of emotions. He falls when he follows everyone. Anger flares, and he acts. Fear whispers, and he freezes. Shame creeps in, and he hides. But what if you could watch these like clouds passing across the sky without becoming the storm? This isn't denying emotions, it's stripping their control. Emotions are signals, quick and fervent, but not commands. You're not your rage. You're not your anxiety. You're the one who sees them come and go. If you learn to observe without merging, you keep your freedom. Freedom isn't in suppressing emotions, it's in refusing to be dragged by them. This is a muscle you can train. The Stoics don't say, "Don't feel." They say, "Feel, but don't blindly follow." Picture standing in a crowd. Someone mocks you. You feel the surge, jaw tightens. Heart races. It's real. But now, pause. Instead of reacting, breathe. Instead of retorting, say to yourself, "This is anger. I feel it, but I won't act on it." You've broken the chain. You've taken the wheel of your life. Most men don't do this. They live in reaction, believing if they feel, they must express. But Stoic practice teaches there's a gap between stimulus and action. In that gap, you reclaim control. That's where emotional strength is built. It's not pretending you're untouched, it's standing firm as the inner storm rages. To do this, practice mindfulness without judgment. A thought arises, don't cling to it. An emotion swells, don't let it define you. Observe, create distance. In that distance, you find power. We often act before thinking, then blame the world for the fallout. But the root of chaos isn't what happens outside, it's what inside you goes unquestioned. When you give emotions the microphone, your values go silent. When impulse is led, your wisdom is left in a corner. The Stoic man reverses this. He sees the fire but chooses not to burn. He feels the wound but doesn't strike back. Knowing strength lies not in display, but in restraint. Restraint isn't weakness, it's clarity. It's the quiet command of a man who waits, watches, and chooses. You can start now. At work when frustration rises, at home when disappointment floods, except when tired, when provoked. Before speaking, pause. Before acting, check yourself. Ask, what do I feel, but what do I want to build from this? If the answer is nothing useful, let it pass. If it's growth, act. But only after the inner storm settles. 10 seconds of mindfulness can change everything. This isn't theory, it's practice. Emotional resilience isn't loud or showy. It doesn't need applause. It lives in the silence between your emotions and your choices. Each pause makes that silence stronger. You might think you lose something by not reacting, but you're gaining everything: balance, vision, dignity. The world doesn't need more men shouting back. It needs men who stand firm, see clearly, and act only when the moment calls. Start now. Next time, emotions surge like waves. Don't fight or follow. Stand tall. Breathe. Observe. And step forward with will, not instinct. Sixth, find gratitude. even in discomfort. Gratitude is easy when the sun shines and life flows smoothly. But when dawn brings bad news, when a trusted friend lets you down, when traffic steals an hour of your life, what then? Most men complain. They replay the moment. They hunt for someone to blame. With every grumble, they dig deeper into bitterness. But the Stoic doesn't sink. Hereses. Knowing gratitude isn't just for ease, it's a tool for clarity. Gratitude in pain isn't pretending it doesn't hurt, it's seeing the chance to grow within the struggle. Imagine a warrior who thanked his battles not for their pain, but for the patience they carved, the resilience they forged, the humility they instilled. While others falter in lack, the Stoic seeks what remains a lesson, a new perspective, an inner muscle strengthened. He sees discomfort not as a break in peace, but proof of its truth. Picture yourself in line, late, phone buzzing with no progress. You feel the heat rise, the urge to sigh, to snap, to demand the world comply. Instead, breathe, look around and say, "What's this teaching me suddenly?" It's not just a line, it's a forge. You're not wasting time, you're building endurance. That shift, that choice to reframe the moment, is how emotional strength is crafted. Most men dodge discomfort, chasing ease, but that breeds weakness, not strength. You grow when life resists, and you choose to face it. Ask, "What's this irritation revealing about me?" That question turns annoyance into insight. When you thank the moment for showing what needs work, you take the first step toward true resilience. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." This isn't metaphor, it's reality. Growth doesn't come from ease. It comes from resisting hardship with the right mindset. Gratitude is that mindset. It's not about loving injustice or cruelty, but valuing the chance to respond better than before. This is the shift. You stop begging life to be easier and start asking to be stronger. Every tough moment becomes an answer to that prayer. Gratitude becomes strategy. You wield it to reshape how you experience failure. It's not about enjoying every event, but refusing to waste any, even pain. Try this now at day's end. Recall a moment that frustrated you, a small irritation. Ask, "What did this moment forge in me? Did it demand patience, challenge my ego, remind me to breathe before speaking?" That's your gratitude. Not for the event, but for the opportunity it brings. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Let it reshape how you face tomorrow. Most men live in reaction. The Stoic lives in refinement. He doesn't crave ease, he forges clarity. And when pain comes, he meets it with calm, not panics, refusing to leave without learning. Make this a daily practice, not a weekly one. Root gratitude where you feel pain. Plant it where you feel lack. Watch your mind shift not toward false positivity, but true emotional independence. This gratitude keeps you steady in chaos, focused amid noise, and more alive than those around you. Seventh, use time's perspective to shrink your troubles. A small fire seems huge when you're too close, but step back, and it's just a flicker. Time does that to problems. It shrinks them, not by changing events, but by changing your view. What feels unbearable today often fades when seen from afar, yet most men never take that step back. They press their faces against every annoyance, every insult, every delay, burning in moments that should have passed. Time's perspective is the Stoic's scalpel, cutting through the illusion that only now matters. It teaches you to ask, will this matter in a month, a year, 5 years? Suddenly, the snide remark, cancelled plan, or missed chance feels weightless. Because most things that shake you aren't permanent, they're fleeting. The wise mind doesn't suffer twice. You miss a flight, you lose a deal. Someone forgets to say thank you. In that moment, your heart races, your mind spins, crafting stories, rehearsing retorts, nursing grudges. But pause not to deny the moment, but to see beyond it. Whisper to yourself, this will pass. A year from now, I won't even recall it. That single thought drains the venom from nearly every emotion, not by force, but by reframing. Many men mistake urgency for importance, treating every argument as final, every mistake as catastrophic. But urgency is an illusion. The Stoic knows this. He doesn't rush into battles. Time will resolve. He conserves his energy, discerning which pains to face and which to outlast. This isn't indifference, it's discipline. Imagine standing in a storm, rain pounding, winds howling. You're soaked, shivering, furious at the sky. But someone tells you it'll pass in 5 minutes. You don't panic, you wait. That's time's power holding firm. Not because it's easy, but because you know it's temporary. You suffer more when you believe the storm is forever. But the wise know most aren't. Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than reality. Apply time to pain, and you shrink the chains of imagination. The petty insult fades by next week. The failure becomes a stepping stone next year. A broken heart turns to memory, its edges softened by time. When irritation strikes, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, how long will this matter? Answer honestly. The truth is briefer than your reaction. That's your signal to let go. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Let emotions come. Feel them. But don't build your identity on them. Let time carry them away while you stand firm. You don't owe anyone a response to every irritation. You don't need to explain your calm to those addicted to urgency. Your peace grows as your perspective widens. Make time your ally, use it to filter what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Then you'll see how many problems loom large only because you stand too close. Step back, breathe, zoom out. 5 years from now, most of today's worries won't even be a flicker. Don't let passing clouds block your light. Let time reveal what matters. And walk through today with a steady mind, undistracted by noise. That's how you rise. Unshaken. Every man craves strength, not the loud kind that draws eyes, but the quiet kind that nothing can stir. What you've heard today isn't theory, it's practice. It's the silent discipline of mastering emotions. The power to pause, think, choose, and guard your peace like your life depends on it. Because, in many ways, it does. As you master your reactions, lower expectations of others, and see every disappointment as a test of character, you transform. You're no longer a slave to emotions, pulled every which way by noise, people, or circumstances. You live with clarity. The Stoics weren't saints. They were men who struggled like you, but trained their minds daily through reflection, silence, and deliberate response. You can do the same. You don't need perfect conditions to start just presence, just practice. Know that inner peace isn't found, it's built, choice by choice, habit by habit. So start small today. When someone speaks rudely, don't snap back. When plans shift, don't complain. When irritation comes, meet it with awareness. Train emotional strength like a muscle. Turn every challenge into your training ground. Over time, the world stays noisy, but you won't be. I invite you to share your thoughts below. What recent moment tested your peace? How did you respond? Let this space be your journal of growth, a reflection of the man you're becoming. True calm isn't the absence of conflict, it's refusing to surrender your mind to chaos. Hold that truth, live it, and carry it quietly but firmly.